What happened when Adidas decided to borrow all the elements from the world record super shoes and put it as a trainer, and we got Adidas Adios Evo SL. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I'm one of the Malaysia running YouTuber. Today I am going for my 100km review on this pair of shoes, Adidas Evo SL. We're going to call it as a Evo SL, the shorter name Evo SL. It looks like Evo 1, but it's not Evo 1. It's inspired and look like Evo 1, but it's totally different from Evo 1. This is a super trainer by Adidas. And the Evo 1 is a world record breaking shoes that cost 2,359 ringgit in Malaysia. Meanwhile, for this pair of shoes, it just cost 629 ringgit. These shoes won't be in the market until next year, but Adidas launching limited pair all around the world. Just what you need to do is you just need to visit to their apps or their website. Different countries have their different limited pair launching. For me, I'm able to secure this pair on the first launching, that is on the 25th of October. Very limited pair. The moment it released, I secure it within 2 minutes. All the sizes already sold out. I'm able to secure one pair, and that will be the second release in Malaysia, that is on the 1st of December. So if you want to secure a pair, that is the time for you to get the second release. It's quite limited release, and what I can say this super shoes is, from the look itself, it's really nice. It's very nice that I'm making me want to buy another pair of Evo SL. Full disclosure, this pair of shoes is purchased by my own money. As I said earlier, I able to secure during the limited release on Malaysia, that is on the 25th of October last month. I able to secure and immediately sold out within 2 minutes. And all the thoughts and all the opinion in this video is my own opinion. So let's start with some of the specification of the shoes. For my size, US 11, the shoes weigh at 252 grams. That is fall under the lightweight daily trainer. If you compare the weight to the New Balance Rebel 4, the weight almost the same to the lightweight daily trainer that I'm going to talk about more on the later in this video. For the stack height, the heel is 39mm and the forefoot is 32mm. Make the shoe 7mm drop. That a bit unconventional for the running pair of shoes, because most of the shoes we're going for the 6, 8, 10 amount like that. But for this one, it's going for the 7mm drop. For the form, using the full length of light stripe form without any carbon rod or carbon plated. At first, I thought there is a stabilizer in the middle. After testing and using, I realized there is nothing in the middle, just a full length of the light stripe form that most of the time that we can find on the Adidas top end range running shoes that will be available at the Takumi, Adidas Pro, and the Evo. I think Evo using the other form or the other measure, but they still call it as a Pro. But I think the Evo one will be different from this one, because I won't try the Evo, and the Evo is very expensive, so I won't try the Evo. But for the format here, I tried between the Takumi and the Pro. It feels almost similar with the firmness, the softness, and the response of the form. On the bottom, using the Continental rubber. This is like no grip rubber. It's like a so-called race type of tires. It has a very flat type of Continental rubber on the front over here, and the two on the back of the shoes. For the upper, definitely is a different kind of version. For this one, it's much more to the comfort version. It's much more plushy, much more cushion around the shoes compared to the Pro version, the Evo 1 and the Takumi that's going for the some sort like much more ventilated and not really absorbing water. But for this upper, it's more like the texture upper with some padding around the shoes. I will bring these shoes out for a race and I was soaking wet the shoes and I directly can feel the weight gaining, especially on the padding area. It's fit true to size for my US size 11 that is UK 10 and up. If you go for the Japan CM is 29 cm. I go for the true to size fitting and there's some room at here. It's quite roomy because compared to the Takumi that I use, a bit tight at the toe box, but for the Evo SL, there's a bit of room to play around over here that caused me blister on my first run with this pair of shoes. After that, I make the lace much more tight so that I can capture my toe box much more secure, but I still able to wiggle around. So for the toe box, it's quite roomy, but this is the one size you need, that is the regular size with a wider toe box. For the arch area here, it doesn't have a high arch, it just have a very low arch. If you are mid-foot or a flat footer, it might fit you quite nicely. And the heel lock down on the back here is a very nice heel lock down. I didn't experience any heel slippage or anything except just my feet wobbling around at the toe box area. From the aesthetic itself, the shoes look like Evo 1. Even that day when I use it for my Circuit 30 kilometer, I use this pair of shoes. Someone came over and asked me, am I using the Evo 1? But I'm just using the Evo SL. If you see it from far, actually it looks like the Evo 1 because of the design, the stripe, the white color that look really appealing and very nice. It look exactly like the Evo 1. Difference between Evo 1 and this one is from the upper, you can see it's much more transparent for the Evo 1, while this one is much more close it, you can't even see what's inside, and there's a lot of cushion over here. For the upper, it's a very nice cushion and well padded upper. It looks really nice from aesthetic. Seriously, if I want to give point for the aesthetic, I would like to give it 10 over 10. It's really nice and very minimalistic design. And the upper is quite well ventilated. I will use these shoes more than 100 kilometer. Hot day, rainy day, and wet day, the shoes perform quite well for the ventilation. It's very nice. Moving to the tongue, using the racing type of tongue, just a very thin layer of tongue and is partially gusted. It's just holding on the front, but meanwhile for the side, it might move around. For me, I prefer the gusseted tongue, the whole tongue that cover it, or you just put it together at the upper so the tongue won't move around. This is something that I much more prefer on my pair of running shoes. And the back over here, you have a lot of padding around the heel collar that really comfortable, that didn't encounter any heel slippage. At the back here, we have a very nice heel collar for the stabilization, and the heel cup is really feel good and nice. The only downside of this kind of upper is absorbing water, especially we living in a tropical country, Malaysia, Singapore, South Asia, this kind of place that most of the time raining or we sweat a lot, especially when we run, we sweat a lot. So this kind of shoes will be absorb a lot of water, especially on the heel collar behind here. It absorb a lot of sweat or rainwater. The insole is look and feel like the Takumi insole. It will be a bit slippery when it's wet. That I having the same issue with the Takumi Sense 9 that I'm using. Once it's wet, it's a bit slippery in the insole, especially when I have some room over on the toe box. So my feet actually a bit slippery moving inside once it's wet. Light Strike Conform is a form that very proven, fast, soft, and comfortable. And they have a huge stack of the form and this pair of shoes. The shoes is without any carbon rod and any carbon fiber plate inside. At first, I thought there is a plate in the middle for the separation. After I use it, then I realized there's no plate in this pair of shoes. It's just a full stack of Light Strike Pro form in the shoes. the response, everything, what I feel like when I'm using this pair of shoes is feel like Takumi Sense on steroid without plate or without rod itself, because it has a ground feeling in this pair of shoes. It will help me to compress off before I pop to the next step. It has a ground feeling compared to the Takumi that I use. Once I press it, I can feel the rod actually doing the work. Meanwhile, for the Evo as well, I can feel the full potential of the form itself. Actually, it's a very nice shoes and very fun shoes to run with it. You can see the shoes actually started to curve up at the 16% mark. Then start the shoes starting to curve up, and you have a very nice drop rocker geometry at the 16% mark. Some of the shoes started, most of the shoes starting around 65 or 70, then they only starting to curve out. But for this pair of shoes, you can see the aggressiveness of the shoes, and it's starting to curve up around the 60% mark. How to count the 60%? Full length 100%, 50%, and this is the 60% mark when the shoes starting to curve up for the rocker geometry. Some of the shoes they have a very nice curve. For this pair of shoes, flat around 60, then you starting to curve up. It has give me a very smooth transition during my run. That this is the technology that they borrow from the Evo 1 that they implement to the Evo SL, same as the Pro 4. Also using the Continental rubber, as you can see the front here is a full Continental rubber cover on the front, and there's two more Continental rubber on the back. So it's covered on the inside, midfoot, and the forefoot. Continental rubber is quite durable, but I really use it. You can see it here. Actually, there's some flat spot of the Continental rubber. And you have a look on the shoes. You saw this part, the exposed form that without the Continental rubber. So this is where I land and where I toe off. When I land on the midfoot, when I toe off, actually I more towards outside as a supinate and more towards outside before I go to my next strike. So that's why this area, same as these shoes, inside, also without the rubber. So without the Continental rubber, so the form actually already chip off, already beaten off by the street itself. And there's some flat spots. If you see the front part here, there's some flat spot on the shoe itself after 100 plus kilometer when I'm using on it. For the grip wise, for this Continental rubber, there's no issue with the dry or wet. I will use this pair of shoes on the dry day and wet day. It didn't have any issue with both of the scenario, and the shoes able to grip it and provide me the energy that I need for my next strike. Let's go to the user experience with this pair of shoes. I will bring these shoes out for one race, 30 kilometer and 2 half marathon with this pair of shoes, and some of the strike and some faster run and some easy breaking in with this pair of shoes. And what I can say is this pair of shoes is not just suitable for big. What I can say, this pair of shoes is not just suitable for a daily trainer, but it's suitable for long run and even race with it, because this pair of shoes is more designed for the faster race, for the faster pace run. That means go up to the tempo or race with this pair of shoes. I will race with this pair of shoes. Definitely proven this pair of shoes can be used for a faster pace race because of the response. For someone that doesn't want to have a carbon rod or carbon plate, but just want to have full enjoyment of the form itself, definitely this pair of shoes may able to fulfill your request. A shoes that having a full super form without a carbon rod or carbon plate. on my slower pace than around 6 to 7 minutes. This pair of shoes seems like going to push me further and faster because if you look at the shoes start the drop of the shoe started around the 60% mark compared to a lot of shoes they started around 70% mark, and this pair of shoes started at the 16% of mark. So you have a much more nice roll towards on your next stride. So when I land on here, when I'm starting my stride, the shoe seems like going to the next stride. So the shoes intend to push me go faster on my easy day, on my slow day. When I pick up the pace for the faster pace, these shoes really shine at there. So for me, what I think this pair of shoes is more to the up tempo pace or even go for the race day. Now we move to the buyer guide, which shoes that's similar with the Evo SL. The first shoes that I'm thinking of is the Rebel. New Balance Rebel version 4 that having a very similar characteristic between both shoes. That's lightweight, using the race day superform, aggressive without plate, and very nimble shoes. Both of the shoes sharing a very same, even both price also same, and both also sharing a similarity. Hard to get in the market. These shoes almost sold out when it's launched, same as this one during the soft launch also sold out. That's why both of the shoes sharing a very similarity characteristic. If you're able to try on this pair of shoes almost similar feeling with this pair, but the difference is this form is much more firmer and much more rigid compared to the Rebel form that is much more soft and cushioned. For the Evo SL, the light stripe Pro form is much more rigid and much more response compared to the Rebel. Both shoes can use for daily train, fast tempo, or even race. Yes, I raced with this pair of shoes before and get some podium places. Same as this pair of shoes. That's why I can say both shoes sharing a very similar characteristic. The next shoes that I'm thinking of almost similar with the Evo SL, that is the Super Blast, that using the same type of super form that used by all their super shoes that without carbon fiber plate, they will put inside their trainer, that is the Super Blast. They also sharing a same characteristic that is hard to get. Once they launch, the shoes is totally gone. These three pair of shoes have sharing a very similar characteristic is when they drop, immediately sold out. It's very hard to get all their common size. But one thing different with the Super Blast with the Evo SL is the stack height of the shoes and the price. The Super Blast having a much more thicker stack height and the price is much more expensive compared to the Evo SL. But the shoes definitely is much more durable as I've used the version 1 and the shoes is super durable and very responsive. Who should get the Evo SL if you're able to secure it? First thing first is the look of the shoes, that you like the look of the shoes. You doesn't care about all the information, the spec. If you just like the look, definitely you should get this pair of shoes. Just like me, I like the design, the look of the shoes. I don't care about the spec, I just want to get this pair of shoes. And the second is, if you want something that is lightweight, responsive, that without the plate and much more forgiving to your feet during your run everything, you should get this pair of running shoes. Who should not get Evo SL? If you're looking for one pair of shoes that go for everything, Evo SL definitely is not the one pair of shoes that all round everything because of the durability. If you can look at the durability on the bottom, it's not really that durable for me. So if you want going for one pair of shoes that go for daily train, fast day, race day, long run, these shoes might not suitable because of the thinner outsole and the durability is not really that much. So these shoes definitely is not suitable for. So in conclusion, Evo SL definitely is a good pair of running shoes that are able to handle daily training, up-tempo run, long run, and even race with this pair of shoes. For the aesthetic, it's just perfect minimalist design. If you like me, perfect like minimalist design, definitely you will like this pair of running shoes. So that's all on my 100-kilometer review on this Evo SL. See you guys on the next video. Bye.